as ILO, we work with trade unions, we work with governments and employers, and the work with the employers is very much led by the ILO Global Business and Disability Network, which basically brings our thinking and practices and tools together in a single framework for employers. It has been around for almost 10 years now. And the overall mission is simply, it sounds simple, but of course, it's a lot of work, supporting companies in making the employment policies and practices inclusive of persons with disabilities around the world. And why around the world? Because we have global companies as members in our network. You will see on this, those who can see the slide will see the logos of the 24 multinational enterprises that are currently part of the Global Business and Disability Network, the GBDN. And you will see also many of them are actually based in Paris. So some of them might have actually been able to come if the conference would have happened in person. So we have 24 multinational enterprises on board. And the main challenge, or one of the main challenges they face, making sure that what they have in place in terms of policies, procedures, practices, when it comes to the inclusion of persons with disabilities in their business operations, is to make it effective wherever they work. It might be very good in France, it might be very good in Germany or the US, in the UK, but what happens if they go to, or if they then operate in countries where the legal environment, where the policy environment, where the infrastructure is much more challenging? So that's an area where we very much support these companies. But you will also see that we also not only have global companies as our membership base, they are the main, let's say the primary members, and the network is very much run by these global companies. But you also see that we have more than 30 national business and disability networks as our members. And these national business and disability networks exist around the world, from North America, South America, Sub-Saharan Africa, the Mediterranean Sea, Europe, South Asia, Southeast Asia. So this is a concept that has been very successful around the world, especially in the last, let's say, 3-4 years. More and more of these national networks have come up. And oftentimes we in the ILO support processes that lead to the establishment of national business and disability networks. At the same time, so in addition to the global companies and in addition to the national business and disability networks, we have 9 supporting non-business organizations as part of the Global Business and Disability Network, because oftentimes companies are looking for disability-specific expertise, and either NGOs or DPOs can provide this. And you will also see, of course, the International Disability Alliance is part of our network. And you will see here now, I'm going into the governance structure, how is this Global Business and Disability Network actually governed. And you see there that the International Disability Alliance is also part of our steering committee as a voice of persons with disabilities. At the same time, of course, as I mentioned before, global companies take the lead in this network. So they are the primary members of the steering committee. And each year there's a chair and vice chair that keep rotating. Currently, we have Repsol, the Spanish multinational energy company, as the chair of the network, and L'Oreal, the vice chair for this year, and will become the chair next year. We also have one national business and disability network in the steering committee, which is currently the one from Sri Lanka. And we in the ILO, we provide the technical secretariat. So preparing meetings, preparing tools, keeping the discussion running. Let me just go quickly, because I think I don't want to take too much time, but we basically summarize what we do in these 4 areas. We say, look, companies, you can learn from each other and share with other global leaders. You have access to country-specific business and disability insights. As I mentioned before, it's very key for multinational companies to know what is existing and what is possible in specific countries. Then we generate cutting-edge knowledge, guidance, tools, And of course, we also provide a platform for companies to actually show, to allow them to showcase what they're doing in disability inclusion. They might do a good job, it might be on their website, but it might not reach always a bigger audience. So let me just give you a few examples in these 4 areas. So how do we do that? Learning from each other and sharing with other global leaders. Of course, there are a lot of conferences, and of course this year, of course, we cannot have the face-to-face meetings we had in the past. Last year in November, we had a major conference with more than 300 people participating in person in Geneva, where the ILO headquarters is based. We were looking into how can we make the future of work more inclusive for persons with disabilities. Of course, the traditional, let's say the traditional challenges still exist. Physical accessibility is not always there. Digital accessibility, stigma, discrimination, all of that is still there. But then we're trying to focus on, okay, what do we already have to think about now to make sure that inequalities are not repeated in the future. Then we also try to bring the Global Business and Disability Network closer to specific world regions. Yearly, we have one in Latin America, but then also we having conferences, or we had conferences now in Southern Africa and North America. We were thinking this year actually to go into Southeast Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa, but okay, we know face-to-face meetings are not possible at this stage. So then on this slide, we have also webinars, and that will be, of course, more and more important during this the necessity of physical distancing. And we already had a webinar specifically on COVID-19 facilitated by the Global Business and Disability Network. It is also available on our website, businessandisability.org. So the second point I mentioned, yes?
2 minutes.
I'm running out of time. 2 minutes. Okay. Just to mention, also on our website, you will find a lot of country profiles with specific information on what is going on in, I think we have around 70 countries now, some information. So if you're a company and want to go know what's happening in Kenya, in Bolivia, the Philippines, or India, you'll find that information there. And then I mentioned cutting edge knowledge. Of course, we produce a lot of publications and guidance, and we structured the work of the Global Business and Disability Network this year along the 4 areas: recruitment of persons with disabilities, because oftentimes companies, even if they're interested, they still struggle in how they actually attract and retain people with disabilities. We focused on, we are going to focus on digital accessibility, more important than ever during this time of crisis. We're also looking into neurodiversity, and then global company policies and practices in workplace adjustments, or as you know, we call it reasonable accommodations. But of course, with COVID-19, a lot of that work needs to be shifted around. So we're now producing also products under the area of COVID-19. We're actually going to send out in the coming days a survey to the national business and disability networks to invite them to approach their respective company members in their respective countries to find out what has happened ever since the crisis hit them, and how have people with disabilities, workers with disabilities, been affected. And we also have a self-assessment tool. I don't want to go into this, but check it out on our website if you have time. And then the last one, just to mention that, yes, we have, of course, the webinars, the meetings, we have the website, we have a newsletter in English and Spanish every 2 months. And of course, we have a LinkedIn space. And then the last point, I invite you just to watch on our website a global disability awareness campaign, where, of course, persons with disabilities themselves are featured in expressing what we call then invalid opinions by many people without disabilities about their work capacities, in an attempt to address the stereotypes and stigma that many people with disabilities still face today. So it's an Invalid Opinions campaign. We would be very happy if you watch it on YouTube, share it, and promote it. But thank you very much. I'm happy to answer the questions you might have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jürgen, and thank you for being for keeping in time.